Hello friends, I am Shivaji Bhaskar, Faculty of Russian at the School of Foreign Languages, IGNOU. I welcome you all to this course, Basics of Russian Communication Skills Part 1. As you remember that in our previous modules, we have discussed about the various aspects of Russian grammar and phonetics. In initial modules, we discussed about the Russian alphabet, combination of vowels and consonants, and we have seen various word combinations and verbs. You already know some of the verb conjugations which we have used in various other cases. So now you remember that in our previous parts we have discussed about the case system in Russian, which is also known as Padyesh. So we have 6 cases, and as per every case's demand we have certain verbs which we conjugate in order to give meaning to the sentence. So have you already seen that when we start the question kto and shto, it is normally used in the imini-chilni Padyesh or the nominative case. For prepositional case, we use the prepositions like va and na, which means in, at and on. So it is absolutely clear to you. We shall be discussing about rest of the cases in detail in the dedicated modules. However, as we discussed in the previous module, now we will take it further to this module and discuss in details about the adjective and noun endings of the different gender of the nouns which we used in the prepositional case. So we already know that how do we use the adjective endings, like if we have any adjective like krasivi or kharoshi or bolshoi, then the noun ending you can have krasivi, человек, большой, anything which is of the masculine gender. Большой театр, for example. Маленький театр, for example. So according to that agreement between the noun ending as well as the adjective ending, you will get the sentence. But since now we are talking about the prepositional case, now you will see how the ending of these adjectives as well as noun are changing. So for example, we have used the adjective like malinki. So noun like sad, okean, universitet, zavod, fakultet, etc. we have used. Now let's go ahead and see some of the examples of the feminine gender. Feminine gender, we have used certain adjectives like philosophia, historia, physica, chemia, and many other. These are the nouns of the many different cases where we are using them as the feminine gender nouns, and accordingly we are changing into adjectives. So in this case, please pay attention that how the noun is being changed into the adjective when we talking about the feminine gender nouns. So philosophia, it is obvious that it is of the feminine gender. So philosophia changes into filosofsky, filosofsky. But as we know that filosofsky is an adjective of the masculine gender. That is why filosofsky. Filosofskaya would be an adjective of the feminine gender. Then you can add any noun of the feminine gender. But in nominative case, philosophia, this is a noun in nominative case, and from that we derive this adjective as filosofsky, filosofsky. Now the next one is historia. Historia is also in nominative case, means history. When we change it into an adjective in masculine gender, it becomes исторический, исторический. If it has to be changed into a feminine gender adjective, and историческая, историческая. And then likewise we have student. Student, we all know, means student, masculine gender, changes into an adjective as студенческий, студенческий зал, students hall, for example. Студенческая библиотека, students library. So these kind of many other adjectives along with the nouns you can also use and make your own sentences. Now we shall go ahead. Here we have physica. Physica is physics, changes into физический, физический. Какой это урок? Which lesson is this? Это физический урок. This is an physics lesson. So these kind of sentences you can also make. Now the next one is chemia. Chemia is chemistry, if we want to make an adjective out of khemia, then it will be khimichiski. If you remember, in our previous module we have discussed about a text where we have seen that the person is working in a chemical factory or in a chemical plant. Suppose Mój papa работает на химическом заводе. Na, because for zavod we always use na, and chimichiski has been used as an adjective for zavod, so it changes into chimichiskam zavode. Na chimichiskam zavode. So I think it is clear. When you have fabrika, it becomes chimichiskaya fabrika, chemical factory. Mój papa работает на химической фабрике. So chimichiski changes into chimichisko ikratki, chimichiskoi fabrike, because of the demand of the gender of the noun in prepositional case. Alright, I hope the concept is absolutely clear to you. Now we will go ahead and pay attention to some of more new nouns of the feminine gender and will derive adjectives. So we have the noun with us, biologia. Biologia means biology. If we want to derive, we want to change it into an adjective, so the technique is biologichiski, biologichiski. Then you can add anything afterwards, biologichiski. For example, if I want to say biology laboratory, then it can be biologicheskaya laboratoria. So like this you can also change. And urok, biologichiski urok. Likewise, we have another example with us like mathematika, means mathematics. So if we want to change it into an adjective, then the same technique shall be applied, like matematika, mathemachiski, mathemachiski урок. Или можно тоже употреблять, we can also use mathematicky facultet, faculty of mathematics or mathematics faculty. Then we have the next one is biologia. We have done. Now philologia. Philologia is philology. Philologichiski facultet. Facultet means faculty. So philology, the faculty of philology, you can also change. And then we have geografia, geography. Geografichiski facultet. Geografichiski urok. And many other such nouns you can add as per the gender, and then you can see that you are making your own sentences while using these nouns and changing them into an adjectives and putting another noun along and then making a sentence which you can use in your own text. And now we will pay attention to the last one is nauka. Nauka means science. If we want to derive an adjective from nauka, it should be naучный, научный. Какой это урок? Which lesson is this? Это научный урок. This is a science lesson. Science lesson. So in this manner, you can also make your own sentences while using these nouns as well as these adjectives which are basically derived from them only. Like in the previous module, we have discussed about the countries like India, Indijski, and Anglia, Angliski, etc. So in the same fashion, now you have seen that how to derive adjective from them. Alright, now let's go ahead and pay attention to the concept that for indicating location in preposition case, we use va and na. So va, which means in or at, and na means on, is placed immediately after the verb. So after the verb, we know that verbs like reach, работать, отдыхать, etc. are verbs. We use them in conjugated form. For example, please pay attention to the sentence. Его брат живет в маленьком городе. So we are using the conjugated form of reach for брат. Его брат живет где? В маленьком городе. Because Gorad is of masculine gender, that is why the adjective malinki changes into malinkam, and as per the rules of the preposition case, Gorad changes into goraje. живет где, живет в городе. Каком городе? Which kind of, what kind of city he lives? He lives in small city. So his brother lives in small city. So the concept is absolutely clear. However, in our previous module we have discussed about various endings, but you need to remember the positioning of these different concepts. In this case we have the noun. So whenever you need to use the preposition va or na, it should be only after the verb. Okay, now let's go ahead and pay attention to some of the sentences. Now we are going to talk about the possessive pronouns like moi, tvoi, nash, vash, его, ее, их and свой, which you already know. However, in this case we are going to talk about them specifically when we are using где, which means where. And which case is this? Of course, it is prepositional case. So we have the question чей means whose. Whose. Чей это карандаш, whose pencil is this? Чья это ручка, whose pen is this? Чье это окно, whose window is this? And чьи эти вещи, whose things are these? So these kind of questions you can also use while using чей. Мой город, my city. It can be changed into the form of где. How do we change? We put the preposition first. For place, we already know, we always use the preposition в. So моем, моем городе, моем городе. Then твой дом, because we are talking about possessive pronouns, so it will go in this fashion only, мой, твой, наш, ваш, etc. So the second one is твой. Твой что? Твой дом. Your house shall change into in где, в твоем доме, your house, right? In your house. The first one is мой город, моем городе, in my city. For example, if I want to construct a sentence that in my cities there are many people. моем городе, in my cities there are many people live. моем городе много людей живут. Because I have to use the verb жить, to live, and for many people, plural, живут, где, моем городе, каком, моем. Okay, so it is absolutely clear. Then the second one is твоем городе. You can also construct such kind of sentence like that. В вашем городе много людей живут. So in your city, many people live. You can answer да, в моем городе много людей живут. So like that. And the third one is наш музей, our museum. Нашем музее, нашем музее. And the fourth one is ваш институт, your institute. В вашем институте учатся много студентов. Whenever we are using the expression of много, we are actually talking about rajicilni padyesh or the genitive case. Of course, you will be learning about this case in detail in the dedicated module. However, for constructing a sentence, we can use them right now. В вашем институте много студентов учатся. So in your institute, do you have many students who are studying? So you can answer да, в моем институте много студентов учатся. And likewise, you have его, ее, his and her, словарь, you know, it's dictionary. Его словаре, в ее словаре. Их университет means their university. В их, so их does not change. Его, ее also does not change. Only difference is that when we put the preposition, the last ending of the noun changes. Like in case of словарь, его словаре, в их университете. So this is the basic difference you will find in such cases where we are using the possessive pronouns. Okay, I hope the concept is clear. Now we will go ahead and see how these possessive pronouns we have changed in case of feminine gender apply. So we have maya, tvaya, nasha, vasha, его and ее and их. So maya rodina, my motherland, na moje rodine. So please pay attention to the ending of maya and moje. Why this happened? Because as per the rules of the grammar of the Russian language, in preposition case, the ending of the feminine adjective of possessive pronoun changes as per the requirement. For any word which ends with ya, changes into ye e kratki. Alright, and any word which changes with, like we have done in other case, that changes into o e kratki. Now, maya rodina na moje rodine, tvoya komnata, tvoje komnate, nasha dеревня, нашей деревне, ваша аудитория, вашей аудитории. For example, if you want to conjugate ваша аудитория, in that we can put any verb as well in a conjugated form. For example, вашей аудитории много студентов сидят. Много студентов, много студентов, много студентов сидят. So in this case, if you want to conjugate the verb сидеть, which means to sit, we can say that вашей аудитории много студентов сидят. Сидят. So сидеть is conjugated in a plural form. Now we have его, ее статья, его, ее статье. Статье. So статья, я is replaced by ye. Их фабрика, it changes into na их фабрике, because we already know for zavod or for fabrika we always have na, and for pochta also we have na. So this is something which you need to remember by heart, that when we use fabrika in prepositional case, the preposition should be na. In case of possessive pronouns, if we are using for the feminine gender words like fabrika, it should be na их фабрике много людей работают, because люди is a plural, that is why работать has been conjugated in a plural form for ani. Alright. Okay, now let's go ahead and pay attention to the next concept. Here you can see that we have certain words of neuter gender like общежитие, письмо, поле, слово, окно, здание. All of them are ending either by ye or o, and it is as per the rules of the Russian grammar that any word, any noun which ends with ye or o, they belong to the neuter gender. So the possessive pronoun, in case of masculine gender we had moi, toi, nash, vash. In case of feminine gender it was maya, tvaya, nasha, vasha. And now in this case it should be mayo, tvayo, nashe and vashe. So mayo общежитие, mayo общежитие, my hostel, моем общежитии, много студентов живут, many students live in our hostel, in my hostel. твоем письме ничего не написано о семье. Thing is written about family. In your letter, it's nothing written about the family. Наше поле, на нашем поле. Then ваше слово, вашем слове. Then его remains same, and you put the preposition v, and akno changes into akne. Zdание means building. Ich zdanie, their building, changes into vaik, vaik zdani. So ye is replaced by e, vaik zdani, in their building. Alright, so I hope the concept for masculine, feminine and neuter is absolutely clear as far as the possessive pronouns in the preposition case is concerned. Alright, now we will go ahead and pay attention to some of the words where we are going to use the expression of svoi, which means one's own. For example, for masculine, svoi кабинет, one owns room or office. В своем кабинете легко работать. It's easy to work in one's own room or in one's own office. Своя квартира, one's own flat. Vasvayei kvarchire, because kvarchira belongs to the feminine gender. That is why the ending of soi changes into swayei. Swaya changes into swayei. Then you have swayopismo, one's own letter, vasvayom pisme. Then you can add any sentence while using any other verb or any other noun like we have done in the first case. So now you know how to use swoi. Swoi for masculine, swaya for feminine, and swayo for neuter. Alright, I hope this concept is absolutely clear too. Now we will go to see that how the demonstrative pronouns are used when we use the preposition. So etat for masculine, eta is for feminine, and eto is for neuter. But the pronunciation should be etat because the udarini or stress sign is on a. Then eta, however, it changes with a, but the preposition, the stress sign always remains on a, and in case of neuter it would end with o, but the udarini would again be on a. So etat, eta, and eto, eta. Этот дом очень большой. This particular house is very big. So this is demonstrative. It demonstrates with the help of pronoun, demonstrates that this particular house is very big. В этом доме живут мои друзья. В этом доме живет мой друг. In that particular house lives my friends. In that particular house live my friend. So in singular and plural we have also seen. Now the next one is эта квартира. Эта квартира очень маленькая. This flat is very small. В этой квартире живут папа и мама. In this flat live father and mother. And the third one is это письмо очень интересное. Why? Because письмо ends with o, that is why интересное. Это письмо очень интересное. This letter is very interesting. В этом письме мой друг пишет о Москве. So now you can see that we have used the verb писать in conjugated form for друг. That is why мой друг пишет о чем? About what? О Москве, about Moscow. So likewise you can also use мой друг пишет о сестре. If you want to make it animate, then about sister. A kом on пишет, on пишет a сестре. So this can also be changed. However, in this particular exercise, you have seen the demonstrative pronouns этот for masculine, это for feminine, and это, which ends with o, is for neuter. Now we will go ahead. And here you can see that the question что and где, how they are changing. For что we have этот дом. In где it would be в этом доме. Because we are putting the preposition, then этот is changing into этом as per the rules of the grammar for a preposition case, and dom changes into dome because masculine gender. For feminine gender it would be эта квартира. When putting the preposition в этой квартире. Then for neuter we have это письмо. It would change again as per the rules of the Russian grammar for masculine этом письме. So we have put the preposition в, then change это into этом, and письмо would change into письме. So I hope the demonstrative pronouns, how do we use them in что and где, and then you can make your own sentences. We would also like to recommend you to pay attention to all these aspects, note them down in a notebook, and use these concepts with various nouns, verbs, their conjugations among your family and friends in order to understand Russian basics in an efficient manner. Now we will go ahead and pay attention to some of the aspects which we have done in this particular module. So we have discussed about the usage of что and кто. Likewise, we have seen how to use them with va and na in prepositional case. Then we have seen how do we use the adjective endings for masculine, feminine as well as for neuter gender, and we have derived from various other important nouns of masculine, feminine and neuter that how these adjectives can be used, like India, Indiski, Anglia, Angliski, and many other such nouns like Nauka, Nauchni, Philologia, Philologicheski, Mathematica, Mathematicheski, etc. Then we have seen the usage of Shto and Gije. In that case, we have seen the usage of possessive pronouns and personal pronouns and demonstrative pronouns. So with the help of these three, we have seen that how do we use moi, toi, na, shwash, yivo, io and ik, whereas we have also seen that how to use etat, eta and eta. So demonstrative pronouns in order to demonstrate that a particular thing or particular place or particular person is how we are being used in that particular prepositional case. For example, Vetam dome. So here in eta changes into atom and we have put the preposition ver. Vetai quarchire in that flat and Vetam pisme in that letter. So these are certain of the examples which we have used in order to understand it fully, that how do we use all these concepts of the Russian grammar when we change it from nominative to preposition. And as per the rules of the Russian grammar, we already know for places we always use ver, for example Moskve, Vinji, v Avstralii, etc. Whereas for certain other cases like Zavod, Fabrika, Pochta, we have na. And with help of all these concepts, you can also pay attention to the construction of various sentences and various other expressions which you can use in your own communication. Then we have seen the conjugation of some of the verbs which are very oftenly used in this case, especially in case of preposition case like жить, где, to live where. So we have used for masculine, feminine and neuter, and we have defined with the help of this verb жить где. For example, мой брат живет в Delhi, my brother lives in Delhi, whereas моя сестра живет в Mumbai, my sister lives in Mumbai, and likewise you can also change it. Then we have seen the usage of the verb like работать. Мой папа работает где? Он работает на химическом заводе, he works in a chemical factory. Моя мама работает где? Where does my mother work? Она работает в Московской городской школе. And she works at the Moscow City School. Московской городской школе. So these kind of endings you can also pay attention to. Then we have seen отдыхать, to take rest. Where? Где они отдыхают? Они отдыхают в Москве. For example, they are taking rest or they are having rest in Moscow. And in order to understand it fully, we have also used many other cases where with the help of which, suppose like genitive case, we have also used the accusative case. Мне нравится жить в Москве. I like to live in Moscow. So these kind of constructions we have made where not only we are talking about the imenitchelny padyesh, we are also talking about the other cases, other 5 cases of the Russian grammar. So I hope with the help of these examples, this particular module, which is basically deals with the prepositional case, as well as we have also discussed about many other aspects, that how from что это and кто это changes into a ком, о чем, as well as где. So these kind of questions we have answered with the help of various examples, and now we will be discussing about many other cases like the accusative case, dative case, genitive case, and the last one which is known as the instrumental case in our next module. I hope you all enjoyed this module. Thank you.